first of all, you're coming off you top 10. You've had a couple of top 5 starts in the last couple weeks. Do you feel like things are kind of maybe coming together in a good way, or they're just?
I mean, it's been a decent couple weeks. I think it's a little early to put judgment on whether we got it figured out or not, but at least we qualified well the last 2 weeks. That definitely has been a bonus for sure.
In 2011, I don't know if you put any stock in this. In 2011, you got hot right about now. Well, let me phrase it. Do you put any stock in it? You've done it before.
Yeah.
That you can draw upon that to help you in this time.
Well, it's never a guarantee, and it's not a guarantee that's going to happen this time either. But you know, you at least have that in the back of your mind that you have been able to do it before and that it can be done. So it's not doesn't leave you with a feeling that the rest of the year is not salvageable.
In 2000, hopeful feeling, not to worry about the hopeful feeling, or optimistic
well,
feeling?
Optimistic at least. I mean, it's. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to say this week that was different than a couple weeks ago, because 2 weeks of qualifying good really doesn't change anything. You know, I shouldn't say it doesn't change anything, but it's, you know, we ran decent last week, and I think that was a positive sign. But it's way too early to say that we've really, you know, for moving the needle a week or 2 weeks, that's a good thing to do it 2 weeks in a row. But I don't know that means that we've got it all figured out yet. So I think it's just too early to tell. You know, kind of. I know where you guys are going with it, and I wish I knew what to say. I'm just not really sure yet. I'm not sure that 2 weeks really gives me a definitive answer on that yet.
You don't say we're full.
No.
We're on to something new.
About it right now.
In 2011, you won 5 of the 10 chase races, including 3 of the last 4. With what Kyle Busch just did in July, how impressed were you by that, and just how difficult is it to string something like that together?
Well, especially when you haven't been in a car half the season. That's the hard part, because, you know, as the technology in our sport changes, I mean, the things that we do behind the steering wheel have to kind of change with it a little bit. So to miss that gap and be out of the car for that long and to put together the run and the string that he has been real impressive. Very, very, very impressive. Did I miss the? I'm sure I missed another part of your question, but
just like what you did in 2011, like how hard was that to string something like that together?
I think what he's done this year in this past month has been a lot harder than what I did, just from the standpoint that he was out of the car for so long, and that's a lot harder thing than people realize, to be out of the car that long and then come back and be right back on top of your game again.
Talking about being out of the car, this is the first time you're going to race at Watkins Glen. That's what, 3 years?
Yeah, I didn't even realize that, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's you know, definitely one of my favorite tracks. I mean, we've had really, really good luck there. I'm actually praying for rain on Sunday. I don't know why, but I have my heart set on racing in the rain at the Glen. So I'm hoping somewhere in the equation we can figure out how to make it rain.
Try to make it rain here too. It's supposed to be 105 this week.
I don't even know if I want it to rain here. Raining here would be fine. I'm just afraid that if it stops, it's just be brutal. So we always pick the best day of the year to come do this. So
I think this race at the Glen will be your first in the current generation of car there. Yeah. What are you expecting from that? Anything different?
I don't know that we'll know till we get out and practice. The thing is, they're still race cars. I mean, the thing, no matter what generation car it is. I mean, I've driven so many different types of cars that it's either going to be tight, loose, or it's going to four-wheel drift, and we'll adjust on it from there. So, yeah, I don't think it'll be a big deal.
Have you had to fight off any bouts of frustration this year?
Weekly.
Okay.
Weekly. I mean, it's the whole season's been frustrating. It's just it's kind of been a double-edged sword, because you got 2 of your drivers that are running really well each week, and then you know, 2 of us that aren't where we want to be yet. So it's, you know, on one side it's encouraging because you know that the organization's capable of doing it. The other side of the coin is that, you know, you're frustrated because you can't figure it out yourself. So you know, like I said, you know, hopefully what you asked earlier gets us going the right way here, and
yeah, that's sort
we're
of
starting.
You're owner of a successful team, owner of a successful track. I mean, you've got a lot of things going your way too. Does that help lessen it a little bit, because everything else is going well?
I think a little bit, but I mean, you know, first and foremost, I was always a racer first, you know, and so that's, you know, the rest of it softens it up a little bit, but doesn't in any way, shape, or form replace the frustration. So
last month in a teleconference, you said you would love for Brian France to attend one of the drivers' council meetings. Have you heard from him since then? Do you expect him to show up anytime soon?
I don't anticipate that happening. So, and I guess somebody from NASCAR's side kind of addressed why he doesn't go, and I can't exactly remember what the quote was about it, but it was somewhat logical, the reason why he doesn't go to those meetings. So, the good thing is the council's still working hard, and I think, as a matter of fact, we got another meeting coming up this weekend potentially. So, we'll see what we can get done.
All the adversity and the personal tragedy you've encountered the past year, excuse me, how much has that changed you is you different? How different is Tony Stewart today than?
I don't think I'll ever be the same from what happened the last 2 years. So, I don't know how you could be. I don't know how anybody ever could be back to exactly the way they were. So, but not being back exactly the same as I was doesn't mean that I've become better in some ways. So, I think there's always positives that come out of every scenario.
Is it any harder this week because it's about this time of year ago?
I'm trying to not think about it. You guys are the first ones to bring it up this week. So, unfortunately, I have a feeling that's going to get brought up a lot this week, but doesn't help you continue to move forward with it. So.
At the next drivers' council's meeting, is there anything that you're personally wanting to bring up?
Yep.
Like what?
Can't tell you that. I mean, we can't tell you guys that. I mean, that's why we have a drivers' council and stuff. I mean, that's the whole purpose of that, is for the drivers and the sanctioning body to meet behind closed doors and talk openly about things that we have on our minds. So, and I know it's your guys' job to try to figure out what all that stuff is, but, keep in mind, I mean, it's the first time in the 17 years I've been a part of the Cup Series that we've ever had the ability to have something like this, and I'm just grateful we've got it. I mean, it's really a cool time in our sport and it's, Brian's kind of had to go along with this from day one. I mean, he's had to approve all these meetings, so as much as talked about wanting him in the meetings and everything. I mean, he's kind of been an integral part of getting this thing started to begin with, and allowing this to happen. So, it's not been NASCAR's tradition and history to let the drivers and the teams be that involved in it, and Brian's been pretty open about letting that happen. So.
Sounds like you could get some pretty good headline if you told us what you had in mind.
Yeah, well, of course. Yeah. You guys would have enough stuff for a while, but I mean, we're drivers. We're always going to have ideas, and the good thing is we've got a group that wants feedback, and that's a positive deal. It's really hard to make things better when people don't want to listen. So to have a group that wants to listen and hear feedback and hear what the drivers and owners are thinking, I mean, that's a positive sign for all of us.
How much of your thought process has changed as being a driver owner? I mean, as opposed to just being a driver, or is this?
I've been an owner since 2001, so I mean, I've been owning them a lot longer than most people realize, and I've won more championships as an owner than I ever did as a driver so far. And there's no way I could even catch up as a driver from the owner's side.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the package that was used at Kentucky is going to be used on a mile and a half, such as TMS. Is that correct?
Going to be used at
Michigan.
Darlington next. The Michigan package is going to be the same. This is where the hard part is. This is the flow chart for everybody. The Indy package is going to be used at Michigan, and what we ran at Kentucky is going to be ran at Darlington again.
And I guess there's a chance it could be here. If it is, how did you? I know it was only the one time with the package at Kentucky. What did you think of it, or how did you feel?
I liked it. I mean, I thought we had to kind of be up on the wheel a little more. I mean, the cars just weren't as stuck as they were with the other package.
Could it help racing here, or hurt racing, or who knows? Once you get out there.
If it was that easy, if we all knew that definitively on that, we would be working for NASCAR.
NASA.
Yeah, I don't want to be a part of NASA either. I don't like being off the ground that far.
How did that 3-week stretch of doing the different packages in 3 straight races, how did that affect like coordination for the team and stuff?
Well, I think Zipadelli'd have to tell you that more. For me, it wasn't a big deal, but obviously for the teams, it's a big change, because you're obviously having to you know, it's more than just bolting on a different splitter on the front, a different spoiler on the back. So there's a lot more that goes into it.
If they announced like that they'll do something like that in the chase, is that something you'd be in for or against?
It's the same for everybody. So you know, to me, it doesn't. Stuff like that doesn't matter to me. I mean, when we all get there on the weekend, it's the same for everybody, no matter what. So it's, you know, I don't know that a particular package is going to suit somebody versus, you know, hurt them somewhere else. I don't think it's going to be a scenario like that. One question. That's all you got. One question today. You're trying to get back to the golf course.
It's been accused of that.
Hey, you're
before.
trying to get back to a nap, right?
Dude, I'm just trying to stay anywhere that's not outside right now.
Oh, hey, this is cool. This is supposed to be 104.5 this weekend.
Well, I sent Kenton a message, and when we were coming out on final, I said, "Yeah, we're landing." He goes, "It's 100." Great. And then I got in the car and started driving over, and the dash's got 105 on it. I'm like, oh.
It's a dry heat, though.
Yeah, whatever.
Just like your hair.
Yeah.
goes as well.
Check how dry it is. Check how dry I am about 10 minutes after being in that car today. So.
With what you're doing here today with giving people rides,
Somebody's going to actually talk about the event now. You need to sign him up, get him a parking pass. So.
what's one of the best reactions you've gotten to someone riding co-pilot like that?
Well, I mean, you always have different levels of excitement, but probably the best part of it's been at the end of the day when we hand out the awards and their speeds, and there's a lot of couples that come and do this, and it's got very competitive between the spouses now on who runs faster, and we've had a lot of these people. I don't know what the percentage is, but I'm sure it's probably 50% of them that'll be here today are people that have been here from the first one on, and they still are that competitive with their spouse about who's going to run faster today. So it's I think riding with me is the cherry on top, but I think for me watching them compete against each other is the fun part for me, and that's what this really is about, and giving them an idea of what it's like in a day in the life of a driver. And when you see them get as competitive as we do at the end of the day, it's kind of, you know, especially when it's been at the dinners and everybody's got done running for the day, it's been pretty, some of the comments have been pretty comical.
Okay. So do you pull for the wives or the husbands?
I'm Switzerland all day. But if the wives do outrun the husbands, I might bring that to everyone's attention. So, just because it's the right thing to do.
When you started doing this a few years ago, did you anticipate the impact it would have? And
No.
That
You
it would
know,
still be going? I mean, a lot of times these are one-time, two-time
Yeah,
events.
and I think I don't think we anticipated how it was going to grow, and you know, the first one that we did was actually with media members, and then it went so well that we tried it with the fans as well, and you know, like I said, it amazes me how many people have done it and keep coming back every year and keep supporting it, and that's what's cool about it. That's why we do it. It's you know, it's great to see that kind of support for an event that's lasted that long. Like you say, it's hard to reinvent it every year, and it's hard to freshen it up and make it new and something different that they haven't done before. But you know, that's a great thing about this crowd today. They're a great group of people. They're a lot of fun to be around, and you know, I think as time has gone on, I look forward to doing this more and more because of getting to know a lot of these people on a more personal basis now.
The more you do it, it's going to get out you're actually a good guy.
Well, they're the good guys. I mean, I just help facilitate it, but they're really the heroes of the deal.
You gotta give up a day to come out.
Yeah, but it's a day out of my life. It's a lot of money that these people spend, and it goes to a great cause. And if it wasn't for them, it wouldn't be successful. It doesn't matter how many days I donate. If they don't come do this, they're the heroes of the day. I mean, they're the ones that have made it what it is. I just come along to have fun and have a good time with them.
And you raised over $1 million already.
We have, not I have. We
As a
have.
group.
Collectively, the Speedway and these guys have all raised over $1 million.
I guess one last question about Watkins Glen. Some people have said like this year that the playing field at road course races has evened out over the last few years. Do you still feel like you have an advantage over other drivers being one of the winningest road
I don't
course
think
drivers?
so. I mean, and when I started in '99, it was you only had like 2 or 3 guys. eyebrows are moving like you can't believe it's been that long. Trust me, I was there. It's been that long. But there were only a couple guys really back then that, Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon were probably the two biggest guys that you had to really worry about on the road courses other than the road course specialist. And I would say consistently every year you can throw one or two more guys in that mix that can get in there and get the job done. So, I think at first, and I think for a long time, the teams and drivers that didn't have any kind of road racing background didn't really care about it and didn't put any focus on it. But they realize how important it is now, and now the teams put a lot of focus on it. The drivers are into it, and anytime you get those guys paying that close of attention to it, it's going to make it more competitive.
Do you think Boris Said's the last of a generation of bringing in a road course ringer?
I think so. I mean, I think he's the last guy that. Yeah, I agree, and I don't even know that you can really call him a ringer anymore, because it's just the guys that are running these cars every week. Those guys know the tracks, and may run those tracks more than the Cup guys do. But the Cup guys know their cars and know the tires, and I think that knowledge still puts them head and shoulders advantage over the guys that run road courses a lot. Didn't used to be that way though. It used to be the opposite. But I think a road course guy's at a disadvantage now just because they don't run the cars. So.
But people still are expecting A.J. Allmendinger to be at the front of the pack.
But he's a stock car guy too, so he understands the car. But he's also really good on road courses. So it's same as when Montoya was running with us. I mean, but for somebody to actually just come in 2 races a year and expect to be successful, I think that era is kind of come and gone.